All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on becoming companions with Litera. My name is Maggie Rant. I'm the Client Success Specialist at Verlata Consulting in Australia. Also presenting today is my colleague James Chan, who is one of our client onboarding and training consultants in Singapore. I will be introducing today's topic, but James will shortly dive into how you can utilize Litera's companion suite to produce better quality documents. So just by way of housekeeping, everyone is muted to maintain the audio quality. If you would like to ask a question along the way, please either raise your hand or submit your questions using the Q&A button, which can be found at the bottom of your screen in the control panel. We will do our best to answer any questions that you have during the Q&A time, which will be towards the end, but if we're not able to, we'll send the answers out to everybody at the end of the session. So our company, Verlata Consulting, is one of Litera's certified referral and services partners, and we've seen firsthand how Litera has helped legal professionals leverage technology throughout the document drafting lifecycle. We're now going to explore together how tools like Litera can help us. Before we dive in, we've put a poll together which should now appear on the screen. We would like to know what you find is the most frustrating and time-wasting task that you go through when you proofread your documents. So if you could please take a quick moment to select what you think that is from one of the options. All right, I'll leave the poll up for about 10 more seconds. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. We'll come back to the poll results in a moment. So let's look at the document drafting lifecycle. Typically, we break it down into two phases. Phase one, we draft the document, pull content from various sources. We might rely on a template, or you can even start from scratch. Phase two, we want to check that the document is error-free. We want to check that it's consistent, and we want to check for anything that could disrupt the integrity of the document. So traditionally, how do we manage phase two of the document? We want to make sure that the document is free of errors, consistent, and correct. We might print the document out, we'll read it many times and check it over and over again. We may pass the review process to another colleague or a junior to help us check again and again. All in all, this would be a tedious and inefficient process. I'm sure you can also agree that no one wants to spend hours or days on end proofreading for errors and inconsistencies. There are also many limitations to the way we traditionally review our documents. So do the traditional proofreading methods work? Are they efficient? Do they take a lot of time? A human may miss out certain elements. So for example, if there are 500 dates in a document, checking all of them for accuracy isn't easy. And finally, are we sure that every document that goes out our firm's door is the best quality it could be? Just before I pass over to James, we've checked into the poll and majority have responded that option one, needing to proofread large documents in a short amount of time, and option two, fixing formatting, consistency, and numbering issues in a document are most frustrating and time-wasting tasks for proofreading documents. So let's have James now focus on these 2 points while he shows us how we can navigate through our documents using Litera.
Thank you, Maggie, and hello, everyone. Thanks for your answers in the poll. We'll definitely try and focus on the 2 points that we've brought up and see how Litera can tackle these issues. Litera has designed a suite of tools called the Companion Suite, which aims to assist not just lawyers, but any legal professional that is required to draft and review documents in their work. The Companion Suite comprises of 3 modules: Contract Companion, DocXtools Companion, and Clause Companion. Each tool has specific features, but work in harmony to deliver accurate and lower risk documents. I'll now jump out of my slides and show you how these tools perform and look like. Okay, so let's imagine that this is a document I've been working on. It's an agreement and it's due to go out this afternoon. Phase 1 is complete and I've pulled in most of the content that I need. Now I'm off to phase 2, where I need to proofread and check the documents for any errors. To start off, I'm navigating to the Litera tab on my Word ribbon. And here I can see all my tools that I can use to review, repair, and manage my content. So Contract Companion is the one that reviews documents for errors and inconsistencies. DocXtools Companion repairs the common errors with one-click buttons. And Clause Companion serves as a library for the user to manage his or her favorite clauses. Now to start off, I'm going to review my definitions with the Define Term Checker button in Contract Companion. Clicking on that, I reveal a task pane, and it shows me that 50 defined terms have been identified in this document. What I can then do is to sort these 50 terms out, and I just want to see where the risk points lie. Doing that shows me that there are 7 entries here, and these have been flagged for me to review. So all I need to do is click on the entry. It will show me where it is. And clicking on the first one, I reveal that the term affiliate is defined in the document, but it's not used anywhere else. So this might imply that there is missing content in the document, or that this term has been left over from a previous document and should not be there. The second entry, closing date, has appeared 7 times in the document, and Contract Companion has identified that the term has yet to be defined in the document. So I should go ahead and do so. And a few entries down, I see the term property. And this time, Litera is saying that, hey, I've duplicated this term, and I should address them and get rid of one of them. So let's check out what else Contract Companion can pick up. Clicking on the Analyze button on the top left, we see a few other features in my task pane. One really useful feature is the names and dates one. This feature extracts information from the document on hand and sorts that information into various categories for me. Here I see that I've made a mistake with one of my dates. And Litera is showing me that, hey, this date, Friday, April 2nd, 2016, actually falls on a Saturday. So I definitely should go and change that or review this date. It also identifies company names, client names. And here I've misspelled Matter, Cook, and Jackson. And the software is prompting me that it's inconsistent with the rest of the way I've spelled this name in the document. I can also sort the information by category. And in one helpful list, I can see all my information. I can see my company names, my dates, my locations, even my dollar values. And say if I'm very familiar with this document and know that we're dealing with a $2.5 million contract, for example, I might want to click on the $14 million entry and review it. This feature is quite useful when large documents get sent to me also, and I just want to focus on certain types of information without having to read the whole thing. I'm moving on to show you the numbering issues feature. And clicking on that reveals that I have made quite a number of mistakes. Again, I just need to click on the results, and I see that, okay, there's some poor formatting here. The indents are not consistent, and I've duplicated these sections. Looking at my other errors, I see that, again, section 3.4 is repeated, and it jumps to 8.1. So what are my options now? I can manually go ahead and amend each issue, line by line, but that still might take me a lot of time to do. Instead, to fix this, I'm going to use my repair tools in DocXtools Companion. Here you see the numbers button. I'm going to click on that. Once I click on that, it goes ahead to study the document style and numbering system. It's looking at its predominant style, seeing where the indents are and what numbering issues we have. It then goes and resolves these issues in order to stabilize the document. So once that's done, you will see that my numbering issues have gone from this task pane. And if you take a look at the document now, you'll see that my numbering is a lot more stable. And I can continue my work. So very quickly, we've gone from a rather messy document to something that we can work with. DocXtools Companion also comes with some cleanup features. You can, with one click, address consistency issues such as conformity of your font types and sizes, as well as changing all of your inverted commas to either curly or straight. The cleanup feature is especially useful when our formatting goes a bit haywire after we copy and paste content from outside the document into it. Now let's review a couple more errors. Going into editing mistakes, Contract Companion shows me that I've made a big error here, where I've typed out 1 million shares, but put into numbers 100,000. An error like this can quite often be very hard to catch, but here Litera has caught it and I can make my amendment. If the intention was to reflect 1 million shares, all I need to do is make that amendment in my document and that error will go away. I then can click on Final Checks. And here I reveal any placeholders that I've left for myself. They might be bracketed text, they might be highlights, or even empty fields that I wanted to fill in later. Here at this placeholder, I wanted to put in a termination clause. What I can then do is launch my clause companion. So the goal of Clause Companion is to serve as a library for users to self-manage their favorite content all within Microsoft Word. They can do this without having to locate them in previous documents or other folders outside of the application. Here you can see my library where I've saved a few clauses and organized them according to their types. As I look for my termination clause, I can scroll through the list and find it. If I couldn't find it, I can always search for it in my search bar above. Termination, there it is. Then all I need to do is click on it and it will insert it into the document for me. I can then work like this and move on to fill up any other placeholders for clauses that I have and fill them all in. Getting clauses into Clause Companion is easy as well. All you need to do, for example, is locate a clause that you like, something that you want to reuse, highlight it, click Save Clause, give it a name, and put it in a folder of your choosing. You'll then be able to use it in any of your future documents that you have Litera with. Now, once all that is done, I've cleared up any remaining issues that Litera has highlighted to me. I'm now happy with my document and can send it off to where it needs to go. Okay, so that is a quick view of Litera's Companion Suite and some of its features. I'm going to quickly hop back into my slides. So the important element here is that these technologies are designed to help one another, provide additional insight, and make corrections where necessary. All this is available to you as a lightweight solution built into Microsoft Word. The tools themselves are easy to set up and do not require complex IT resources to maintain. The tools are smart and serve as an extra pair of eyes, catching mistakes before they become problems, like my $100,000 and $1 million issue. So right now, I'm going to take a short break to answer some questions and take a look at the Q&A section.
Thank you, James. And if you do have any questions, please use this time to submit them now. I'll have a quick look at the question section. I'm so sorry, Marla. I didn't realize I was breaking out at certain points. Hopefully that's more clear now. We did also receive a question during the webinar, James. So somebody is asking, can my colleagues see my clauses in my clause library? Okay, that's a good question. I'm going to jump into Word again just to show this.
So yes, you can share clauses between colleagues. There are two levels to clause companion. The first one is called My Clauses up here. And this exists locally on the user's machine. So all these terms would be created by the user. The second level is actually firm-wide clauses, which can be configured and pushed out by administrators or IT personnel, or maybe even a KM manager, and can be set up on an SQL server or distributed through your DMS or shared drive. So there are two levels to this.
Thank you. Okay. All right, James, we have a couple of questions coming through, and we will do our best to answer the questions. And if we can't get through them all, we'll definitely send out all the questions and answers at the end of the session. But James, one question here: how does Litera identify and pick out defined terms? What if my terms use different formatting from what was shown earlier?
Yep, thanks, Maggie. Contract Companion has been designed to pick up common types of definition formats. So there is a settings function where you can customize how Contract Companion identifies defined terms for added flexibility. So say if they're not a common way of defining terms, you can always add that in and customize it to pick that up.
Cool, thank you. So those were anonymous, but we have Malcolm asking, when you insert a clause from the clause companion, will it insert it in a defined style, or does it have to be styled afterwards in the document?
Right, thanks, Malcolm. So when you insert a clause from the clause library, it respects the location in which you're inserting it in, and will try to adhere to that style existing in the document. So then you don't have to change too much of your formatting.
Thank you. Okay, there are quite a couple of questions, so we'll answer a couple more, and yeah, so we'll definitely send out the answers at the end. Another question here, James, do I need to click each title to check for errors? Is there a way to list them all?
Yep, so there are a few ways to go about checking for errors. One of which I showed you was to click on the individual tiles. You don't really have to do this. You can actually go and click on risk assessment. And this way you will list down all the critical errors without sorting them out into different categories. So this way you can use this as a checklist and say, okay, I need to clear these 10 or 15 errors, and then I am done. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I might just ask one more question. Sorry, just looking through the questions list. I can see there are some questions that are specific to the firm's requirements, so we might just email those people individually, but any general questions we'll send through. So another question, James. Can Litera data for things like clause libraries be hosted in the cloud if you don't have it, if you don't have any on-site IT infrastructure?
Right. Right now, as it is, Clause Companion does not have a cloud solution, so it relies on local servers. Or you could actually run it off a local machine, and you can distribute firm-wide clauses through a settings file. It's a bit manual, but it still works without having to use servers or cloud functions.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, all right. So we'll send out all the questions and answers out at the end of the session, including all those unanswered questions. Appreciate everyone sending those through. All right, so as you would have all just seen, Litera's Companion Suite will significantly reduce the time needed to proofread and repair documents. And if you do want to utilize these tools, either contact myself or James. Our contact details are on the screen, but we'll also be sending an email after the webinar, which will include our details.
Oh, and by the way, I noticed we have a good number of attendees from Singapore. So I'm just glad to share that the Litera Companion Suite is supported under the Tech-celerate for Law grant in Singapore. So feel free to contact me for more details. We can walk you through how that works.
Thank you, James. Okay. Right, we also have a couple of upcoming free NetDocuments webinars, and whether you're a current NetDocuments user or not, would love for you to join us. Just in case you've never heard of NetDocuments, it's a cloud-based document and email management platform designed for law firms and corporate legal departments. We'll send you the registration links after this session, and feel free to invite any of your team members to come along too. And finally, we just want to say thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working on producing better documents together. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.